1. What is the purpose of a firewall? A firewall is a network security device that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. It acts as a barrier between a trusted internal network and untrusted external networks, such as the Internet. The firewall examines each network packet and decides whether to allow or block it based on rules defined by the security policy. 2. What is the difference between a virus and a worm? A virus is a type of malicious software that attaches itself to a host file or program and requires user interaction to spread. It infects a system by replicating itself and attaching to other files or programs. A worm, on the other hand, is a standalone program that can self-replicate and spread without requiring user interaction. It exploits vulnerabilities in software or operating systems to propagate itself across networks. 3. What is the CIA triad? The CIA triad is a model used in information security to describe the three essential security objectives. Confidentiality, ensuring that information is only accessible to authorized individuals and entities. Integrity, maintaining the accuracy and completeness of information, protecting it from unauthorized modification or destruction. Availability, ensuring that authorized users have access to information when they need it, without interruption or delay. 4. What is the purpose of a honeypot? A honeypot is a decoy computer system or network segment designed to attract and monitor unauthorized access attempts. It acts as a trap to lure potential attackers, allowing security teams to observe their techniques, gather intelligence, and collect forensic evidence. By studying the behavior and patterns of attackers, honeypots help organizations strengthen their security defenses. 5. What is the difference between encryption and hashing? Encryption is the process of converting data into a form that cannot be easily understood or accessed without the appropriate key. Encrypted data is scrambled in a way that makes it difficult to decipher without the correct key or decryption algorithm. Hashing, on the other hand, is a one-way function that converts data into a fixed size value, known as a hash value or message digest. Hashing is often used to verify the integrity of data, as any changes to the original data will result in a different hash value. 6. What is the purpose of a DMZ? A DMZ, demilitarized zone, is a network segment that is located between an organization's internal network and the public Internet. It serves as a buffer zone, isolating critical internal resources from direct Internet access. By placing publicly accessible servers and services in the DMZ, organizations can reduce the risk of attacks and data breaches while still allowing external access to necessary resources. 7. What is the difference between a VPN and a proxy server? A VPN, virtual private network, is a secure tunnel that allows users to establish a private connection over a public network, such as the Internet. It encrypts all traffic passing through the tunnel, ensuring confidentiality and privacy. A proxy server acts as an intermediary between a client and a server, forwarding requests and responses. It can provide anonymity and access control, but unlike a VPN, it does not encrypt traffic by default. 8. What is the purpose of a security audit? A security audit is a systematic and independent examination of an organization's security controls and practices. Its purpose is to evaluate the effectiveness of these controls in protecting the organization's assets, information, and systems from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction. Security audits help organizations identify vulnerabilities, assess risks, and make recommendations for improvement. 9. What is the difference between a vulnerability and a threat? A vulnerability is a weakness or flaw in a system, software, or network that can be exploited by attackers to gain unauthorized access or cause harm. A threat is a potential event or action that could exploit a vulnerability and cause damage to an organization's assets or operations. Threats can come from various sources, such as malicious actors, natural disasters, or system failures. 10. What is the purpose of a disaster recovery plan? A disaster recovery plan is a comprehensive plan that outlines the steps and procedures to be taken in the event of a disaster or major disruption that affects an organization's critical systems and operations. It provides a framework for restoring essential business functions, recovering data, and resuming normal operations as quickly as possible. The plan helps organizations minimize the impact of disasters and maintain business continuity. 11. What is the purpose of a Security Information and Event Management (SIEM) system? A SIEM system collects, aggregates, and analyzes security data from various sources across an organization's network to provide a comprehensive view of security events and incidents. It helps security teams detect, investigate, and respond to threats and security breaches in a timely manner. 12. What is the difference between a physical security control and a technical security control? Physical security controls are tangible measures implemented to protect physical assets, such as access control systems, surveillance cameras, and security guards. Technical security controls, on the other hand, are software or hardware-based measures implemented to protect information and systems, such as firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and encryption. 13. What is the purpose of a risk assessment? A risk assessment is a systematic process of identifying, analyzing, and evaluating risks that could impact an organization's assets, operations, or reputation. It helps organizations prioritize security measures and allocate resources effectively to mitigate potential threats. 14. What is the difference between an intrusion detection system, IDS, and an intrusion prevention system, IPS? An IDS monitors network traffic and alerts security teams to suspicious activities or potential attacks. An IPS, in addition to monitoring traffic, can actively block or prevent malicious traffic from entering the network, providing a more proactive defense against threats. 15. What is the purpose of a penetration test? A penetration test is an authorized simulated attack on a computer system or network to identify vulnerabilities that could be exploited by real attackers. It helps organizations assess the effectiveness of their security controls and identify areas for improvement. 16. What is the difference between a rootkit and a backdoor? A rootkit is a type of malware that grants attackers privileged access to a computer system, allowing them to hide their presence and perform malicious activities. A backdoor is a hidden entry point into a system that allows unauthorized access, often created by attackers to maintain persistent access after an initial breach. 17. What is the purpose of a security awareness program? A security awareness program educates and trains employees about security best practices and potential threats. It aims to reduce human error and improve the overall security posture of an organization by empowering employees to recognize and report security incidents. 18. What is the difference between a firewall and a network access control (NAC) system? A firewall monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on defined rules, blocking unauthorized access. A NAC system enforces access control policies for devices and users attempting to connect to the network, ensuring that only authorized devices and users can gain access. 19. What is the purpose of a Security Operations Center, SOC? A SOC is a centralized facility responsible for monitoring, detecting, and responding to security incidents and threats in real time. It combines security tools and expertise to provide a comprehensive and proactive approach to security management. 20. What is the difference between a honeypot and a sandbox? A honeypot is a decoy system designed to attract and monitor attackers, while a sandbox is a controlled environment that isolates and executes untrusted code or files to analyze their behavior and potential threats. 21. What is the purpose of a vulnerability management program? A vulnerability management program systematically identifies, assesses, and mitigates vulnerabilities in software, systems, and networks. It helps organizations prioritize patching and remediation efforts to reduce the risk of exploitation by attackers. 22. What is the difference between a patch and a service pack? A patch is a small software update that addresses a specific vulnerability or issue. A service pack is a larger software update that includes multiple patches and enhancements, often addressing a wider range of vulnerabilities and issues. 23. What is the purpose of a security incident response plan? A security incident response plan outlines the steps and procedures to be followed in the event of a security incident or breach. It provides a structured approach to containing, investigating, and remediating incidents, minimizing their impact on the organization. 24. What is the difference between a denial of service (DOS) attack and a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack? A DOS attack overwhelms a target system with a flood of traffic, making it unavailable to legitimate users. A DDoS attack involves multiple compromised systems, botnet, that launch a coordinated DOS attack, making it harder to mitigate. 25. What is the purpose of a web application firewall, WAF? A WAF is a security device or software that monitors and filters incoming web traffic to protect web applications from vulnerabilities and attacks, such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting. 26. What is the difference between a SQL injection attack and a cross-site scripting (XSS) attack? A SQL injection attack exploits vulnerabilities in web applications to execute malicious SQL queries, potentially compromising sensitive data. A XSS attack injects malicious client-side scripts into web pages, allowing attackers to steal sensitive information or hijack user sessions. 27. What is the purpose of a multi-factor authentication (MFA) system? MFA adds an extra layer of security to user authentication by requiring users to provide multiple forms of identification, such as a password, a one-time code, or a biometric scan. 28. What is the difference between a PKI and a CA? A PKI, Public Key Infrastructure, is a framework that manages and distributes digital certificates to verify the identity of entities in digital communications. A CA, Certificate Authority, is a trusted third party that issues and manages digital certificates within a PKI. 29. What is the purpose of a security audit? A security audit is an independent assessment of an organization's security controls and practices to identify vulnerabilities, assess risks, and make recommendations for improvement. 30. What is the difference between an internal audit and an external audit? An internal audit is conducted by an organization's internal auditors to evaluate the effectiveness of its internal controls and compliance with policies. An external audit is conducted by an independent third party to provide an objective assessment of an organization's financial statements and compliance with external regulations. 31. What is the purpose of a compliance assessment? A compliance assessment evaluates an organization's adherence to specific security standards or regulations, such as ISO 27001 or HIPAA. It helps organizations demonstrate compliance and reduce the risk of legal penalties or reputational damage. 32. What is the difference between ISO 27001 and NIST 800-53? ISO 27001 is an international standard that provides a framework for implementing an information security management system, ISMS. NIST 800-53 is a U.S. government standard that provides guidance on security controls for federal information systems. 33. What is the purpose of a business continuity plan? A business continuity plan outlines the steps and procedures to be taken to ensure the continuity of critical business operations in the event of a disaster or disruption. It helps organizations minimize downtime and maintain essential services. 34. What is the difference between a hot site and a cold site? A hot site is a fully equipped backup facility that can be activated immediately in the event of a disaster, providing seamless continuity of operations. A cold site is a less equipped facility that requires setup and configuration before becoming operational. 35. What is the purpose of a disaster recovery plan? A disaster recovery plan provides a comprehensive framework for restoring critical business operations and IT systems after a disaster or major disruption. It includes detailed procedures for data recovery, system restoration, and resumption of business activities. 36. What is the difference between a backup and an archive? A backup is a copy of data created for disaster recovery purposes, allowing for restoration in the event of data loss. An archive is a copy of data created for long-term storage and preservation, typically used for historical or regulatory purposes. 37. What is the purpose of a data loss prevention (DLP) system? A DLP system monitors and controls the movement of sensitive data within an organization to prevent unauthorized access, exfiltration, or disclosure. 38. What is the difference between data encryption and data masking? Data encryption converts data into an unreadable format using an encryption algorithm, protecting it from unauthorized access. Data masking replaces sensitive data with fictitious or scrambled values, preserving the format and structure of the data while protecting its confidentiality. 39. What is the purpose of a cloud security assessment? A cloud security assessment evaluates the security posture of a cloud computing environment, including the security controls, configurations, and vulnerabilities associated with cloud services, infrastructure, and data. 40. What is the difference between IaaS and PaaS? IaaS, infrastructure as a service, provides access to virtualized computing resources, such as servers, storage, and networking. PaaS, platform as a service, provides a development and deployment platform, including operating systems, middleware, and 41. What is the purpose of a security information and event management (SIEM) system? A SIEM system collects, aggregates, and analyzes security data from various sources across an organization's network to provide a comprehensive view of security events and incidents. It helps security teams detect, investigate, and respond to threats and security breaches in a timely manner. 42. What is the difference between a physical security control and a technical security control? Physical security controls are tangible measures implemented to protect physical assets, such as access control systems, surveillance cameras, and security guards. Technical security controls, on the other hand, are software or hardware-based measures implemented to protect information and systems, such as firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and encryption. 43. What is the purpose of a risk assessment? A risk assessment is a systematic process of identifying, analyzing, and evaluating risks that could impact an organization's assets, operations, or reputation. It helps organizations prioritize security measures and allocate resources effectively to mitigate potential threats. 44. What is the difference between an intrusion detection system, IDS, and an intrusion prevention system, IPS? An IDS monitors network traffic and alerts security teams to suspicious activities or potential attacks. An IPS, in addition to monitoring traffic, can actively block or prevent malicious traffic from entering the network, providing a more proactive defense against threats. 45. What is the purpose of a penetration test? A penetration test is an authorized simulated attack on a computer system or network to identify vulnerabilities that could be exploited by real attackers. It helps organizations assess the effectiveness of their security controls and identify areas for improvement. 46. What is the difference between a rootkit and a backdoor? A rootkit is a type of malware that grants attackers privileged access to a computer system, allowing them to hide their presence and perform malicious activities. A backdoor is a hidden entry point into a system that allows unauthorized access, often created by attackers to maintain persistent access after an initial breach.